Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Amir,
Salman,
And Shara.
Hi, you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast regular feed. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We now have a Patreon channel with bonus content and exclusive merch for those of you who would like to support us. Every dollar goes towards creating more and better content. Visit us at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast.
Hi and welcome to a new episode of Khandaan Podcast. My name is Asim Bernie and I'm joined with my lovely co-hosts Amrita and Sujoy. Hey Amrita, hey Sujoy.
Hello. It's been a while.
I haven't heard your voice even in a while, Sujoy.
Yeah. Well, my voice has been taking a vacation.
For those who don't know, the reason why we haven't been on air for the past couple of weeks is because Sujoy hasn't been feeling well, but now he is back and twice as good. Right, Sujoy?
Sure, let's go with that. मेरे रगों में खून दुगना दौड़ रहा है.
Twice the Sujoy for still the same cheap price.
Which is free.
Please subscribe to our Patreon from $1 onwards.
Exactly. If you were on Patreon, you might have already gotten an episode actually last week where we and Amrita were, having a really good discussion. We didn't even miss Sujoy at all having our discussion.
Oh, thank you guys. I feel so included.
Talking of Patreon, do you want to read something that one of our Patreon, people sent us? Like it's a
Yes, I do. Yes.
So we're doing this thing where we just read out a short note from the lovely people that have subscribed to our Patreon, and we're just sort of introducing the people that have signed up.
So Viral writes, and again, Viral is an amazing patron. He's been, supporting our work for a long time. Always a great chat, always good insight. And he started listening to Khandaan back in 2019. So also an early listeners. He mostly listens on Spotify or Patreon. He listens while he's mostly in a car or while working. He loves signing up to the Patreon, and he suggests other people sign up for the extra content and the live interactions from time to time. I see the shade. I see that the live interactions need to go up. Viral, I know you've been asking for a few, and we are planning a few more. Which movie haven't we covered that he would like us to cover is Sawan, the Love Season. Technically Salman, long cameo movie. Love to hear Asim defend the role of Bhai. Guys, I admit this is one movie of Salman I have not watched. So even I would... There's two movies of Salman I have not watched. This one and the one with Amisha Patel. Do you remember that movie? I think Rishi Kapoor is Amisha Patel's dad.
Ye hai Jalwa.
Yeah, those are the two only Salman movies I have not watched. So, yeah. And then what other activity? He would like to see more quizzes and more Khandaan lives and more chit-chat and live games. We have heard you, Viral. We're definitely working on doing more of these. But yeah, it's going to be coming. We're going to be doing some really, really cool stuff. So if you sign up to Patreon from $1, you will get access to that cool stuff that's coming. Shall we get on to our show? Because we have a lot of things to talk about. I think we cannot start without talking about Jamnagar, right? I have to say, I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want to cover this on the show. But we just asked our Patreon, should we talk about it? And I don't think we've had this many messages that everybody absolutely wants to hear our thoughts about this event. So let's talk about it. This is a special for Patreon that everybody has access to now. Amrita, kick us off. What the hell is Jamnagar? What happened? Who are these people? What should we talk here?
It's a bunch of rich people doing rich people stuff. That's basically what it is. It is just the most maximalist, gross, display of wealth that I have seen in a very, very, very long time. Even by like rich Gujarati standards, like this was just disgustingly over the top. This is not even the wedding festivities, it's the pre-wedding festivities. Basically, I think they had a bunch of deals that they needed to crack with, Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and the Trumps and Rihanna and all these people. And they basically invited all their business associates to come to India and also gave them the Indian wedding experience, which by the way is an actual thing. There are people, tourists who come to India, and there are tour companies that will take them to like random shadis to show them the Indian wedding experience. And that is what the Ambanis did on a global, like, billionaire scale. And of course, everybody just like lost their friggin' minds. I have never seen these many people, like ordinary people, like luchas on Twitter who are basically unemployed, sitting around going like, "Oh my god, so sanskari, so humble." Meanwhile, Neeta Bhabhi is going
Yeah.
around with a 500 crore necklace around her neck, being all humble. I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
I love that. I love that tweet when somebody compared that necklace to a Medillic sabun. It was like this.
No, I was also there. Somebody had tweeted like, "This is the GDP of Pakistan on a neck," which is legit funny. This is legit funny, but we're just sitting in our corner. We're not doing anything.
Why drag us? हमें क्यों तोड़ा?
I don't know. Funny joke though. Funny.
But it's just literally, yeah, it was just all the Bollywood people were there, and then like Rihanna was there, and Rihanna, so everyone knows that Rihanna is like one of the laziest performers out there, right? Like the girl does not give a flying F. She's now in the cosmetics industry, and that's how she makes her money, and that's how she likes it. But she showed up and she did like, some choreo and everything. And, like she needed to like call out the bride and groom. And she said, shout out to Anand and Radiki.
Radiki.
Like,
Which is a type of salad, right? Radiki salad, Radikio.
I mean, you get paid like $8 million and you're just like, I can't even be bothered to like learn the names of the people who are paying me the $8 million. I was like, wow, you're a real star. But yeah.
And I mean, the other thing is also the appearance of a non-Bollywood star creates so many inputs in desi brains that they don't know how to handle it. So if she takes a photo with paparazzi on the airport, we have to shame all Bollywood celebrities because they do not take these kind of pictures. Then another contingent comes in showing where Bollywood stars have taken like friendly pictures with fans. And then it also adds like a layer of feminism into it, because obviously women could not take these pictures with paparazzi because, they would get... physically assaulted. But then there's another contingent, like, why are women not safe in India? What is going on? You should learn karate, right? The Rani Mukherjee meme come up. So the one input of
Krav Maga.
Rihanna taking a picture with paparazzi sends us in. We don't know which fight to fight. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, कुछ किसी से
there's
लड़ना,
another.
but समझ में नहीं आ रहा किससे लड़ना है. Like.
There's an additional layer of Neeta Ambani not even touching her house people, like the help, when they are dancing around her, and she was like, social distancing, It was like, and then additional footage, like the PR madness was all around, like greatest Indian family, they were trying to portray the Ambanis like that, and Radhika serving their guests and like, kitne sanskari bahu mili hai inko.
I mean,
It's hilarious.
like, people have like zero understanding of like PR or, like just people putting on a show. They just like are absolutely willing to buy anything. Absolutely anything. And of course, like no event in India is complete without a Shah Rukh Khan scandal. So it started out with him coming on stage and he said, Salam Namaste and for good measure Jai Shri Ram, which was a pretty
Yeah.
funny joke.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
And literally everybody on Twitter lost their minds. They were like, oh, Shah Rukh said Jai Shri Ram and he meant it. Like, this is how far like India has fallen, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, if you guys don't even understand language, like very simple language, this is not even elevated sarcasm.
I think we need to explain the facets of it because not everybody is understanding even what happened, right? They need us to explain, right? What this so what again? We don't know who to fight. We want to fight, but we don't know who we want to fight, right? So Shah Rukh makes this comment as a joke. So the first level, we have to explain what sarcasm means because a lot of people just don't understand what sarcasm means. Right? There were people like genuinely he is saying this, right? Like when literally his face, his tone, his voice is explaining sarcasm. So obviously there's a contingent of people that do not understand it, that this was sarcastic. So yes, it was. Then there's another level who says, Muslims are being so forced, and especially big celebrities are so cuckolded by wealth that, they have to say this. Otherwise, they would be, burnt on stage. Shah Rukh would be burnt on stage if this, he didn't say it. But then on the other hand, Bharat Mahan is such a multi-global, respectful country that, we just respect all cultures together, right? So what's the difference? Why can he not say it, So these are the 4-5 levels of, discussion that is going on at the same time with Shah Rukh making a sly joke as Shah Rukh does.
And it wasn't even like a giant joke. Like it was like a tiny little ha joke, and then he just moved on. But then also this is what I always say, people शाहरुख की एनिमी की गलती सबसे बड़ी गलती ये है कि वो शाहरुख का एनिमी है because every time Shahrukh fucks up, something or the other happens in which his haters always end up on the wrong side. And that's what happened with this gala also, because this whole joke thing happened and everybody basically unleashed all their khunnas on Twitter, and they were just like, oh, Shah Rukh. And then the actual video came out and people were just like, guys, it's a joke, relax a little bit. You might not like the joke, but it's not the end of the world, and people were
joke
like,
tha.
Yeah, people.
Joke tha. I don't like jokes.
I don't like jokes.
People on Twitter were literally going how come Shah Rukh never gets called out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because you call him out for the wrong things all the time. This is not what you should have called him out for. Because on the third night, what happened was he, Salman and Amir got on the stage and they began dancing to Natu Natu. Except they were doing the Hindi version, which is Nacho Nacho. And it's the worst version. But anyway, they were dancing, and then Shah Rukh decided to call up Ram Charan, who was in the audience. And he called up Ram Charan in this see, the thing that you need to understand is that Shah Rukh is a middle-aged uncle from Delhi. Okay, he dresses really cool. He makes big bang movies and blah blah blah, and everybody loves him, etc., etc. But he is a middle-aged uncle from Delhi, which you need to understand when you come to certain things.
No, he is an uncle, but he's one of the nicer uncles. ये वाले uncle बुरे नहीं है. That's the uncle he is.
And the thing,
ये थोड़ा kitchen में help कर लेते हैं. सामान that वाला uncle.
But the thing is, you need to, I grew up in Delhi, and I'm telling you, there is a certain breed of Punjabi uncle who thinks it's very funny to make fun of South Indians. They don't mean it in a racist way. They don't, if you told them it's racist, they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way, okay?
I have to push back on this. Shah Rukh is a known offender with this nonsense,
that's what
right?
I'm saying.
Okay, because on the Chennai Express, he was all Shah Rukh, if you've seen my career of 20 years, I've never intentionally hurt it. I was like, dude, you were dressed up like a Japanese person with Jui Chawla and making chow mein jokes, let's not.
But when it comes to South Indians, Delhi uncles are it's a weird thing where they're extra racist to South Indians that they like. And I know this because I'm a
Yeah.
South Indian that grew up in South Delhi and was surrounded by Punjabi uncles. And this is the behavior.
Like everybody is a
Yeah,
Madrasi.
it's not even
Everybody is a
that. Like,
Madrasi.
there'll be like jokes about sambar, there'll be like, or sambar as they call it, or, it's a very specific Delhi uncle thing that I've noticed my entire life. And is it nice? No, it's not. But do I know where he gets it from? Yes, 100% I
Do
get
I
it.
appreciate it? No. Do I appreciate it? No. But I live with it.
So Shahrukh gets on stage and he calls up Ramcharan and he's calling, and I completely believe that he is very fond of Ramcharan and etc. Like I get all of that. And he calls up Ramcharan and makes like these idli, dosa, sambar. I don't know what the he was saying, but it's some sort of like gibberish. And that's how he calls Ramcharan on stage. And immediately all the Telugus were like, wait a minute, why did he say that about Ramcharan? And now that was a actual problematic thing for Shahrukh to say and like do. But because everyone had already spent like 2 days frothing at the mouth about this joke that he didn't even
Yeah.
mean, they had like no energy left to actually have a discourse about like, oh, like maybe you shouldn't be like talking to
Yeah.
people about this.
Sab outrage khatam ho
Exactly.
gaya.
So now Shahrukh lives to be racist another day, like that's basically what's going to happen.
But we as Khandaan people, right? We have to be ever so thankful to the Ambanis for bringing what Bollywood can do, which is bringing Amir, Salman, and Shahrukh together on stage and dance to Nacho
Okay.
Nacho. And
Is this the Ambanis? Is this the reason because the Ambanis brought them together, or is the reason because Thugs of Hindustan and Lal Singh Chadda have flopped consecutively that this happened? I want to know what is the reason.
Also, I just want everyone to Google pictures of Amir at the at Jamnagar, and I want you to know that you can't blame me for making fun of this man. Like, you cannot blame me when he chooses to go out in public dressed like that. I'm sorry, but this is just bait, and I'm gonna take it every time. I'm sorry.
yeah.
But I think Sujoy was the most happy out of all of us from seeing these three men together, right? Sujoy?
Yeah, I was more happy because Salman was dancing like he hasn't danced like that in ages. And he was teaching choreography to both the other Khans. And they were like, Amir was so easily giving up. And he was like, tu re idhar, tu pa. And he was like, don't leave without dancing this step. And they made the whole choreography work. And yeah, it was fabulous, man. I was
But
so
that's what
wholesome.
we've always pointed out, right? Like, Salman performs at a different level when he's around his peers versus like when he's around the chunnu munnu that he works with.
Subordinates,
Yeah.
plebs.
Plebs.
Yeah. I actually didn't even watch any of those clips. I was like, I'm such an anti-capitalist. Like, I cannot stand it. Like, this expression of wealth, like rich people, it just physically sickens me. I do not care about it. I just hate all of it. And the thing is, I don't know if, like, we were having this discussion yesterday. Were they paid to appear to this event or not? And I don't think they were. Because culturally speaking, I don't think they would offer money and they wouldn't take the money. Like, this was culturally would not work that way, right? But being there will give them access to so many favors and connections that the money would be nothing compared to that, right?
Like, famously, Shah Rukh performs at weddings for a huge sum of money, right? But it's different with the Ambanis. Like, the Ambanis and Shah Rukhs and everybody in Bollywood go way back, and especially now with them being such a powerful media house in the form of Jio Studios and Jio Films, they have acquired Disney Hotstar. Disney Hotstar, 60% is owned by Jio now. And yeah, that's a huge thing. So all of this makes sense. Now, even if there was not even a single rupee was exchanged, it all makes
Like,
sense.
Ambani went on stage and introduced Shah Rukh as Anand's godfather. Like
Godfather.
what
What does
was
that
that about?
mean?
I have no
What does
idea.
that mean?
I have no
Insert
idea.
Guju
insert
Godfather.
Jennifer Lawrence meme. What does it mean? What is that?
But also, like, what we saw on like during those 3 days was basically class solidarity, right? Like, it was just a bunch of billionaires getting together and being rich together. Like, that was
Yeah.
basically all that was. And
But it was funny though, because like a lot of people were still making fun of Bollywood people when they were being dragged as Baratis in a bus, and he was like, "Ha ha! Ha, look at these rich people. Ambanis are way richer than you." And I'm like,
Aukat dikha di.
what
That's
are
what
we-
people,
Ha, yeah.
And it's such projection. Like, it's such projection. Like, you feel lesser by these Bollywood stars, and now you want somebody richer to show them their place. It's like, why do you feel lesser than Bollywood stars? Like, I don't, like, where does that dynamic first of all come from? Like, I don't know. It's more a glance into like the Desi psyche
Yeah.
of the discussion around it, and all of the kind of like feelings we have of diminishment and like our value in society and towards rich people. And like I think I texted this to you, like it was I think it was on Viral Bhayani, whatever his name is, Instagram page. Like the paparazzis has received like a tray of food. And they were like, look at these amazing Ambanis, they take care of everybody. And it was like an airline food plate. And I was like, man, this is like the literal minimum that you can do. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's Jamnagar. There's not even like a Starbucks nearby, right? You're like sitting there near an oil refinery, in the heat, photographing these people. But it's just this idea of us being so subservient to rich people, and that just annoys the crap out of me. I do not understand why this feeling doesn't go away in Desi people. Just care, like, anybody rich, anybody white, anybody, more than you just like, put your nose on the ground and start rubbing it like, hi, my, my lord. And I cannot stand it. Maybe it's just because I'm, I grew up in Europe or whatnot. I just cannot stand it. It annoys everything in me. There were a few other things that happened in Jamnagar, right? Kangana Ranaut didn't get invited. Just wanted to add that. She was nowhere to be seen. Katrina Kaif was invited. She looked amazing. $1 million, and she did not want to be there. She just like wanted to leave straight away. I could feel her. I had kindred spirit with Katrina.
And also Diljit Dosanjh performed, which was, I think, the better live performance. And Kareena was on stage dancing on it, and that was bomb. I want to see that live. That would have been something.
It was really sweet what he said also. So, do you want to say what he said, Sujay?
I have completely forgotten, but
No,
that's
he
cute.
said that our Beyonce, our Rihanna, like he said in Punjabi. My spoken Punjabi is a little terrible, so I won't inflict it on you. But he said like our Beyonce, our Rihanna, like all of that is Kareena only. Like she's the one, and that is
he's right.
actually a great segue to some of the trailers that we've watched.
Yes, actually, I was going to say, I think there's a good. In a way, it's also a very smart tie-up, right? Like having Kareena on stage and then dropping a song, which is a straight-up banger. Diljit, he just sang Nena, I think it's called, for The Crew. So in a way, it's a really good tie-up too when you think about, these brand deals and stuff like that. By the way, also, Diljit did his own commentary on the Jamnagar event, which I really think people should watch because it's amazing. It might be a bit very Punjabi, so you might not get all of the joke, and I don't think there's all subtitles, and you probably wouldn't get all the subtitles even, but that is a great event. And also shout out to Charisma being on there, not only Kareena, but Hamari Beyonce Charisma, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Oh God. So yeah, first a few trailers dropped, and we want to talk about The Crew first. This is the movie that we got instead of the Katrina Priyanka.
Gile Zara. That was-
Jile Zara Alia movie. We're not gonna get that, unfortunately. But we are getting this, and I'm very excited for this. I didn't understand that this would be a heist movie. Like, like it's from the trailer, it seems like it's like a heist movie between these three women, and that is like a pretty cool and amazing concept. I didn't think that's where they was gonna go. But what did you think of the trailer? It's a trailer, right? It's not a teaser, Amrita?
yeah.
It is a teaser.
It's a teaser.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think?
I mean, I continue to be like really impressed with the Kapoor sisters for putting their money where their mouth is. Like these two women were just like, we need more female content, and they were just like, we're gonna make it, and they make it fun, they make it commercial. They're not doing like Dukhiari Aurat, जमाने के जुल्म से लड़ रही है अकेली, and then like उसके साथ ये हादसा होता है. Like that's not the kind of cinema that they're making. They're making movies about like modern women who have like strong female friendships and are like up to like very unlikable things as well as fun things, and I enjoy that, and it's done really well. At least the ones that I've seen so far. Like, I've always enjoyed everything from like Aisha to what was the last one that came out? The Bhumi, the Bhumi Pednekar one that was directed by Karan Bulani, who's married to Riya Kapoor.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. It's sometimes is a little bit hit or miss. Like Thank You for Coming was a little bit of a miss for me, but it was still like way better than about 90% of the stuff that comes out, like it was fun. And of course, in this movie, you have Kareena and you have Tabu, and that is all I need. Like, I don't need anything else. I like just that little interaction where Tabu is like, "Bas kar behan, kitna foundation dalegi? Foundation hai."
It's not foundation. It's foundation or a time machine.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
And then Kareena is like, "It's foundation. It's not time machine." Like that is like the best thing. Like I can just see the relationship between the two of them. I know there were like people who were complaining that they didn't see too much of Kriti, especially in the Naina song. And I want to say to those people that actually you did see a lot of Kriti. Like Kriti, I don't think she's been shortchanged at all. It's just that Kareena...
I thought you saw less of Tabu in
exactly.
the song. In my...
Yeah.
And I think she wasn't also styled correctly, I felt, Tabu.
There's
in
something
that song.
weird. Yeah, there's something weird
There's
about
something
it.
weird going on,
Yeah.
and this seems weird. And I wasn't sure if Tabu is just not used to these kind of songs because we don't see her, or there's something going on in the styling. I thought Kriti is like I've been on the Kriti train for a long time, and I'm loving this moment she's grabbing. I love Kriti. She saw opening. She says, "Alia is pregnant. I'm gonna release 5 movies." Like I'm just gonna go in, take over this world, and I think she's doing it. Like she's got this one. She just had a hit with Teri Baaton Mein. And Do Patti is coming with Kajal. Even that trailer looks amazing. By the way, we're not going to talk about it now, but we can talk about it later on. I love this Kriti Sanon renaissance that's going on. I am really sorry I joked with Varun and called her Chewbacca once, but I love her. She's amazing. That's a story for another day. Sujoy, what did you think of the crew?
Guts of calling Kriti Sanon Chewbacca. Oh my god! So, what does that make Varun? He's R2 because he's tiny.
She didn't get it. She's not a Star Wars person, so it was fine. Sujoy.
Yeah, -1 points. I just watched the trailer, to be honest. On mute, so everything is just visuals from me.
That's all you need,
And I'm
Sujoy.
just
What do you need?
Yeah, that's what. Like,
You don't want to hear women talk, Sujoy. What is this? Guys, that was sarcasm.
You heard it.
Guys, that was sarcasm. I just...
Cancel mat karna.
Don't Shahrukh me.
Where was my train of thought? Oh, I just checked who's the director, and he's directed Loot Case before this, which I really
of people
liked
like that
actually
too,
with Kunal Khemu. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a heist movie, which again is one of my favorite genres. And to watch Kareena and Tabu share screen together, it'll be a banger.
I'm going to cinema to watch this. Like, I'm not even going to wait
absolutely.
for theater. I'm going to watch like these women on screen, like on a big screen. That's what they deserve. That's what I want. That's what I want in life. So the crew is definitely going to get covered on Khandaan as a main review. Second trailer that came out, Yodha. Is that the one we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Yodha?
Do we want to talk about Yodha? That's the question.
I want to talk about Yodha because it clearly saw the trailer of The Fighter and it is hiding its Islamophobia with so much effort. Like, it's so strained. Like, we have hijackers, but we don't know who these hijackers are. Where are they from? Like, hide it so well. But I gotta say, being the positive part about it, the action looks really good. Like in like Siddharth. Shit, now I'm blanking on the name. Siddharth? Is it Siddharth?
Yeah, Malhotra.
He's back into that a gentleman kind of action zone, and I like this zone for him. I think he has a really good physicality to do this. But that's kind of the only, and I do like kind of like a Passenger 57 Bruce Willis kind of movie, and I don't think enough of those get made. If people like that genre, I still recommend watching Sanak with Vidyut Jamwal, which is an amazing Die Hard kind of movie. Not enough people have watched it, and I like it. Again, there's going to be Islamophobia in this for sure. Like, it's going to be anti-Pakistan and stuff like that. And I think, let's see how much of it will be. The thing is, they've not put it on the forefront of the marketing, which Fighter did. And I think Fighter did a big mistake of doing that. But yeah, what did you guys think of Yodha? Sujoy?
Do you remember the Kurt Russell, Steven Seagal movie that came out in the 90s?
Executive Decision?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's the one. It kind of reminded me of that for a weird thing. And like, I grew up watching those 80s badass, 90s badass
Air
movies.
Force
right?
One.
And
That was another one.
Air Force One, Clear and Present Danger.
The Harrison Ford movie. Yeah.
All of those. I'm like, if you do those movies really well and deliver on the pulp, absolutely on board. But yeah, thoda kam Islamophobia, please.
I don't know. It just feels like a Netflix movie to me. Like,
Also.
I think.
Also, again. Thanks for bringing us down, Amrita.
Sorry.
I don't think I'm going to watch this in theaters. This is not going to be a theater experience for me, so it's going to be a home movie. I don't think Siddharth has reached theater level yet. He's not Tabu and Kareena together. Like, it's not.
He's not Vidyut Jamwal.
It's not Vidyut Jamwal, yeah, right. Of course not. I'm still annoyed that I missed Crack. I had the ticket and all, yeah. I was going to go. Okay. Any other trailers that came out? No, I think that's it now.
Yeah.
Okay. We watched a bunch of shit. Like, there was a lot of
Yes.
stuff, especially when we don't we don't record for 2 weeks time. We just have a bunch of stuff that we can talk about. I watched a lot of shows and I quit a lot of shows. I didn't go through with a lot of them. I watched the first episode of Poacher. Has anybody watched that one?
I started watching and then I fell asleep because I was watching it in subtitles with Malayalam. Is it the original language? And yeah, it was like, I was not in the best of my health, so I gave up on it.
I want to watch it, but I don't know when I'll get around to watching it, because the kind of subject matter it is, it requires a certain mental state for me to watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not there right now. Like, this month is like kind of hard for me, so I don't know when I'll watch it.
Yeah, it kind of was on my radar because of our friend Suchin's show, Streaming with Suchin. He had a very good interview with Richie Mehta, who's the creator of the show. And he also made Delhi Crime, which I know Amrita recommended. I still haven't watched it because of the subject matter. So also I know Alia Bhatt is producing the show, so it was on my radar. and I started watching it. I think Prime has done a terrible job in promoting the actual drop of the show, because the show was already on the platform for like a week or something, and I totally missed it. It had not appeared on it. I watched one episode. It's intense, and it's very interesting because it's like it is kind of a murder mystery whodunit kind of situation, but with an ecological theme in it, which is something I hadn't really seen before. It is an intense one. It's not going to be a light watch, and the thing is, I just don't want to say this in a dismissive way, but ecology is not the top of my priorities a lot of times. Like it's not like I like there's certain tragedies in the world that's going on, and maybe it's just an age thing. I know when younger people, they're a lot more worried about the world and the state we are and ecology and stuff like global warming and stuff like that. I might be too uncle and too old to care as much about it, and the themes just doesn't hit as much for me. But it is a really well made show for sure. I just don't know if I have the bandwidth to continue watching it. I know that Sachin really loved it, so I think he's probably has a good review out there. So check that out. I don't know if you guys are watching it. Amrita, do you have any interest in it?
I will watch it, just not right now.
Yeah. Okay. The second show that I watched was a Love Story on Prime also. This is produced by Dharma, and it's basically short documentaries about people and their love stories. Basically, it's that. What was that? Was it Dil To Pagal Hai or Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi, where before the movie starts, you have people interviewing their couples and stuff like that,
Dil To Pagal Hai.
In Dil To Pagal Hai, the Ek Duje Ke Vaste, they
Yeah.
have like the footage of real life couples.
I think we've seen it a few times, but I think basically it's that, but in documentary format, and it's six different episodes. I watched the first one, and I thought it was really, really cool. I just I didn't feel compelled to watch the rest of it. And that's just because I don't like necessarily anthology stories. Like, it's not my thing. So I watched one episode, and I think that was it. I might return to it when I have absolutely nothing to watch, or I'm like, I have 40 minutes left. What can I watch? That might be the case. But it is well made, and it is very sweet. It's a good, well-made show. But yeah, there's just too much going on. There's just too much content, so I didn't have a chance to finish it. And the last thing I watched, one episode again of, is I'm trying to find the exact name. Yeah, the INDRANI MUKERJEA story, The Buried Truth.
Oh, I want to watch that.
What the hell? Do you watch that?
I want to watch it.
Okay, I watched one episode of this, and I don't know anything about this case. Like I don't know who this lady is. I wasn't I didn't follow it. I wasn't in India. I didn't follow news. I didn't know.
Yeah, if you were in India, you could not escape this case.
Tell me a bit about the show. Tell me what happened, if you can.
Oh my God, I'm not exactly sure on the details either, but the people who are involved are supposedly high society people. The Peter Mukherjee, who is Indrani's ex-husband, I think now, he used to be the CEO of Star India back in the day when like Star was completely changing its image. So he was like one of the main players who brought KBC to India, and all the Kyunki Saas Bhi Bahu Thi and their collaboration with Balaji Telefilms happened. So Peter Mukherjee was this big media figure, and I think there was this whole mythology around the presence of this man, that he could approach Amitabh Bachchan and all of that. And then Indrani Mukherjee was seen as this high society player who sort of trapped him and then got married. Indrani had this daughter from a previous marriage, and then I think the murder mystery is around whether did she kill her daughter or not. And all of that, and they have all been released now, not guilty and all of that.
No,
But
no, the
the
case is
story
still
remains to be
ongoing.
told.
So that is like why a lot of people are shocked by the series, which is the case is still ongoing, and in the middle of it, she gets to create this show where she's like, "Oh, actually, I'm totally innocent," which she I mean, she's a complete narcissist. Like you can just see it, and she
Yeah.
has like this woman is gangster. They put her in prison, and she basically like formed a union of her fellow prisoners, like women prisoners, and they agitated for like better conditions in the prison and stuff like that. By the time she was released on parole, apparently the prison authorities were like really happy to see the back of her, because they were just like, wow, this woman's like trouble. Like, can you imagine how badass if you have to be for like an Indian prison to be like, my god, like yeah, I'm so glad you're leaving, like, yeah.
She's
She
like
Jawan
basically
from the
Nuri
inside.
Nuts leaving prison.
That's basically who she is. And then she like apparently like got this documentary made where she's just like, oh, like I'm a victim actually. And the reason, and there's also a lot of rumors about like why she was released from prison on parole, because she came out with like a whole bunch of accusations against like opposition party members, etc. She was just like, this person has done this person has done that, etc. So she tried to turn like witness in like several cases, etc. So yeah, that woman's a player. I don't know how long they're going to keep the documentary up, but I want to see it because apparently, she's unhinged in it. So I want to watch it.
What's funny though is also like that whole year, like Times Now and Republic and all Aaj Tak, everybody was on it, like running constant stories about these two people and the death of the daughter, and it was just nuts, like how intense that coverage was. Like you could not escape that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I didn't know anything about the thing so I was like on the first episode I was on a wild ride, like, wait, it's not the sister, it's the daughter, like what's going on, like the daughter is the sister and the sister is the daughter and the son is the uncle. I was like, who, what? So I was just kind of like trying to find my bearings with
Sala uncle gone.
Mark kidhar hai, it was also amazing to see like that proper journalists like Rajdeep Sardesai are on this documentary talking about the case when they've actually literally covered the case. So it feels really weird. I didn't know that. So I only watched one episode and I didn't know that this documentary was then going to be a mouthpiece for Indrani herself. So she appears later in the episodes. So I haven't gotten that far. But I have to say, like, true crime and things like that is not really my genre. I thought, and I feel icky about the journalistic practices of this Netflix thing. And then the Ambani thing happening at Jamnagar at the same time, I was like, I'm done with rich people, yaar. I just like their problems, like let them, live or die with them. I don't care. So you guys watch it. Let me know if I should continue after watching episode 1.
I don't think I'll be watching it.
At the moment, I have no compelling reason to do that. I think I did also see Suchin his review on it, and he said I could basically skip to the last episode and watch the first episode and I should get the story. So I might do that, but I want to hear what you guys think when you finally watch the Indrani Mukherjee story. That's it. What did you watch, Amrita?
I watched Laapataa Ladies.
Number 1 fan, Amrita.
आमिर के जोरू ने बनाया है.
Asim, as the number 1 Amir Khan fan, how many times did you watch Laapataa Ladies?
But this is like a weird assumption.
Blah,
Like,
blah, blah, blah.
Should I watch The Notebook because I'm a Salman Khan fan?
Blah, 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 blah.
Amrita has
what's the
been
Notebook
on my
joke?
case for like weeks with this one. I don't understand it.
What's the Notebook joke?
It's a movie produced by Salman.
What?
Yeah.
Which notebook?
Do you know with the Nutan's daughter
Oh,
on a lake, and they
what?
isn't it called The Notebook? Is that movie not called Notebook, or they just copy The Notebook? Wait, let me just find the name of them. Please go ahead with Laapata ladies. I'll try to find the name of that.
So it was really cute. Like, I highly recommend Lapata Ladies to everybody. I think it's turned out to be a bit of a hit. And I'm really glad for Kiran Rao and everybody that's like involved in this particular venture. It's the guy from Jamtara. Do you know the series? Like, I didn't watch it, but I know the
I heard
series.
of it. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they're all like really good actors, and it's like set in 2001. Everybody in it is like, the politics is very present, as you would expect from a Kiran Rao movie, but it's not preachy, and it's not like this. It's pretty funny. Ravi Kishan is hilarious, and pretty much they're really good in creating this world as it must have existed in the year 2001. And it is it's heartbreaking at times, it's maddening at times, and overall it's very funny. And I don't want to like, I mean, the trailer will tell you what it is about. It's basically this man marries this woman, and they're coming back to his place when they take this really crowded train. And in the train, he gets confused and leaves his wife sleeping and makes off with like another man's bride. And then he somehow needs to find his actual wife. And in the meantime, his wife is getting an education in what it means to be out of her out of her family home, basically, like what it means to be a full human being rather than like somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, etc. So it's a very interesting film, I thought.
I really wanted to go. By the way, the movie is called Notebook. I am that big of a fan that I do remember some forgettable movie from 4 years ago. Basically, my theater is just like screwed up with timings, and I just couldn't make it. But I also started feeling very quickly that this might be a streaming movie too. I don't know. Is that like it's? I don't feel it's a theatrical experience necessarily. What do you think, Amrita?
Yeah, you're right. Like, you can watch this on streaming and it'll be just as good.
And is it that good that you're going to be talking about it at the end of the year? Like at the end of the year, like
Yes.
top movies is Laapata. Yeah, it
Yes.
is that good. Okay.
It will be in the conversation. And I think the reason why I liked it as a theatrical experience is because the audience that I watched it with was really into it. So I went for a really late show, and it was just like a whole bunch of people who were from. So in the movie, they say like, this entire thing happens in a fictional state called Nirmal Pradesh, so that nobody would make any kind of noise. But there were a lot of people who identified with Nirmal Pradesh in the theater, and they clearly understood the environment that was being depicted on screen. And like, they were in on the joke as well. So that made a difference. It was like really nice to be with that crowd. And there was this group of women that was sitting behind us that were just like providing commentary at like everything that happened to the women. And I watched it with like a woman friend of mine as well, and we just like really enjoyed it. But at the end of the movie, like, everybody gave a smattering of applause, and like, it was just really cute.
How nice. How nice. It feels like a movie for people that, Rocky Randhawa is, living with his in-laws, that kind of crowd where they, where he has to sing and has like it feels like a bit like that. But no, I am excited as soon as it drops on streaming, unless it's dropping on Geo or something like that, because he had to dance at the wedding, which would suck. But I am looking forward to watching this movie if I can. Sujoy, you watched lots of things in your Bimari. Amrita, you were done, right? You had, or did you have anything else?
The other things I can say for our Malayalam section.
Yeah. Okay. Sujoy, what did you watch?
So I pretty much binged watched 4 episodes of Showtime, which is a Dharma production that's dropped on Hotstar, and they've done this weird thing that they did with the Night Manager as well, which they've released like the 4 episodes of the first half, and the second half comes in June, and by that time nobody will even care about this. But I've pretty much enjoyed this. It's a very easy watch, and everybody is having a blast pretty much. So it revolves around Victory Studios, a fictional studios, pretty much on the scale of Dharma probably, which was started by Victor Khanna, played by Nasiruddin Shah. And he, back in the day, he was one of the pioneer showmen of the industry, and then he went on to make something called Imane Ishq, or Imane Ishq, and I think that pretty much bankrupted the studio. And then his son, who is played by Imran Hashmi, and he plays a character called Raghu Khanna. He's like this really cocky producer, and he's been making pretty much soulless Ram Jane kind of movies, I guess, to make the studio afloat, and making lots of blockbusters, but like terribly reviewed movies. And then the third main character of the show is somebody called Mahika Nandi, who is the minor spoilers, illegitimate or child of Nasiruddin, or the grandchild of Nasiruddin from his like unknown marriage in the past. But then things happen, and then Victor Khanna, before he dies, in his will basically leaves the studio to Mahika Nandi, and this whole outsider who she used to be a showbiz journalist, and she's thrown in the midst of all this drama that is surrounding this film studio, and she has to make ends with, she has to negotiate with producers and negotiate with directors and actors. And one of the main ones is somebody called Arman Singh, played by Rajiv Khandelwal, and he plays this very exaggerated version of a Rajesh Khanna, but now kind of a guy. And like, the hero ego versus the directors, and then there's politics, there's all of that happening. There's Vijay Raz as well, as a film distributor, I think, who also runs like a daru business. There's lots of drama and like little tidbits of the film industry, which I guess Dharma is privy to, and they are dropping names. There's cameos. There's Janvi in one episode for like 10 minutes, and they talk like it's quite fun. It's a very, very easy watch, but my only problem is like 4 episodes hi kyun dala? Agar dalna hai, then you release it on a weekly basis, perhaps, if you want to continue the conversation going. But otherwise, if you are cutting the season into 2 halves, I don't think people will be as excited. Like, public memory just fades.
Is this on Netflix?
And it's on Hotstar. Yeah, and like Imran Hashmi is having like the best of times in this movie. He's chewing scenery left, right, and center, and I enjoy watching him do that.
Nice. I was planning to watch this, but I just had so much to do, and Hotstar is not one of those platforms I easily go to watch things, and but also it just does feel like these are just stories from Dharma's group chat, like.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't know it was split up in 2 seasons. I think is a terrible idea. Who was a fan of Night Manager, didn't even watch the second half of Night Manager, just because of the way that it was released. So the world just moves on. So I just don't think this is a good strategy at all to release shows this way. What else did you watch today?
So before I went unwell. I did go to the cinema to watch two Malayalam movies, which is a rarity for me, but Amrita hyped the heck out of both of them. The first one is a Mohanlal movie. The second one is a Mammooty movie. And I was like, this hasn't happened ever. Like, I haven't watched either of these. Maybe like I watched Company at the cinema, which was many, many years ago. And that's not necessarily just a Mohanlal movie, but
Yeah.
Mohanlal doing like a hero kind of a movie in a movie directed by Lijo Pellissery, who's I think directed Jallikattu as well, right? That I watched at the cinema. I wasn't expecting. Like, I expected Lijo Pellissery and Mohanlal to make certain kind of a cinema, and I wasn't expecting this. This almost felt like a Kamal Hassan movie, and he would do great in a remake of MALAIKOTTAI, and this movie was firing on all cylinders, man. Like, I don't know how much this movie cost, because there is like no expenses left on the table. Like, everything screen pe dal diya, it, like, from the first frame till the last, it has so much ambition and so much storytelling, so much drama, and like actions, and like there's influences from Kurosawa to wuxia movies, and there's Portuguese colonizers being kicked their asses, and and the love story, the betrayal, the colors, the cinematography, it was amazing. And I cannot hype this movie enough after watching this. Asim, did you watch it?
I did. So both of these movies we're talking about, me and Amrita already spoke about on our Patreon special. So we went in detail with both of these movies. I do have to say it's amazing. Mammooty doing great work. Mohanlal doing great work. Amitabh making spice ads and tweeting how to pack t-shirts. It's living legends all. Like, it's amazing.
Like Malaikottai VAALIBAN, we, like Asim said, we've discussed this on the Patreon, but I knew from the get-go that this was a movie that Sujoy would love. Like, I came back and I was just like, Sujoy, you gotta watch this. It was honestly nothing that I expected. Every single frame, every single step of the plot was absolutely unexpected for me. Like, I did not expect any of those
for
things
sure.
to happen. I think there's a point where like they suddenly break into a Hindi song, and I was just like, "What is happening?" Like, the friend that I watched it with, both
Is a Malayalam Lavani happening in the middle of all of it?
and it's actually, so the Lavani is actually performed by Sonali Kulkarni, who performed in Natrang with Atul Kulkarni. And
Not
that
the other Sonali Kulkarni.
no, this is the other
Bollywood audience as well.
this is the other Sonali Kulkarni, who's like very famous in the Maharashtrian scene. And there's a song called Apsara Ali. Like, even if you don't follow Marathi cinema at all, you've heard of this particular song. It's by Ajay Atul, and she basically does like a reprise to that. Like, it's sort of like an homage to that. Like, that's what I mean when I said that this movie is basically an homage to cinema as a whole, because it's literally everything that Lijo Pellissery has seen in his life. He's basically said that, this is what I love the most about this particular thing. So he's dressed up Mohanlal as a samurai. He's sort of there's like this fight sequence that it makes you think of like wuxia movies. Like, all these things that happen, you're just like, I don't know where he's getting this from, but it is so much fun, and I'm so glad I watched it on the big screen, because the way that this movie is shot, the cinematography is gorgeous. Like, even if you don't know anything about cinematography or about cinema, it just like punches you in the face. It's probably one of the, like, if you are a fan of Tasin Singh, for example, like, this is the movie that you should watch, because it is just, everything was just surreal and beautiful, and I enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I enjoyed a Mohanlal movie, and this one was just like so much fun.
Yeah, I got into because you guys were so hyped and excited about this movie. I was like, I have to watch it straight away. I liked it. I didn't love it as much as you guys did, but I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think people should just watch it for the visuals, even if if the story doesn't all make sense. I think it's just the detachment from reality and any sort of physics and logic. It just like becomes taxing after a while. Like I was saying on the Patreon episode, there's an episode where they have like a spinning turret cannon gun, and
Oh
either
yeah,
you're in or either you're out at that point. So
yeah.
that's kind of like the thing that's happening. But yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing. Like if you're a fan of cinema, even just you have to watch this movie. It's
It's Mohanlal's belly which is holding back the recoil of that gun.
yeah, but like it's yeah, he's a strong fellow, man. Mohanlal still like it's
Oh
a
my God,
belly and all
yes.
that. I can respect it, but like dude can lift, man. It's like not we shouldn't like underestimate him. But yeah, I do recommend it. I didn't love it as much as you guys did, but I think and this movie also flopped. So I was even
Yeah.
speaking with a friend who's a huge Mohanlal fan, and he didn't even know this movie had come out. So like clearly it came and went very quickly. And I think again, like because we're talking about so many different things, this might get just like burnt under the buried under the rebel because there's just so much content and stuff like that. But I do think people should watch it. It's streaming on Hotstar, and it's a beautiful, beautiful movie. What was the other one you watched?
The second one is a Mammooty movie called Bramayugam, directed by Rahul Sadasivan, and also story by him. And this is a black and white horror, folklore, dark fantasy period movie set in
17th
I
century.
don't know,
Yeah.
17th
17th
century.
century South India.
Yeah, and at the moment when this movie started, I could feel like there are certain movies where you can feel the atmosphere, like it makes you feel uncomfortable and your breathing becomes like uneasy. You're not your heartbeat changes and everything. Like the last time I watched it, it certainly brought me back memories of watching Tumbad at the cinema, and that was the kind of vibe that I was having. And it also has that you know the sort of it crosses the line or walks that line between fantasy and reality, because it's sort of marrying history with folklore. And like Mohanlal plays this like eerie
Mammooty, not
character in this. Mammooty plays this like eerie character in this movie, which is like I got the creeps just by the look of his teeth, and it was like he was omnipresent in this movie, even if he wasn't in the frame. Like you could sense the dread. I can't exactly remember the exact plot of this movie. Like this guy who takes refuge in this house, it's like Hotel California, you can enter but you can't leave or something like that. And he was trying to get out of this house, but he's now cursed because of the presence of this ghost who has taken over the family who used to be the owners of that house. And then there's another servant who is present, and they sort of form an alliance to escape this house. And then the whole struggle is between these two mortals versus the ghost. And then shit happens. It's like gorgeously shot in black and white. And like if you like horror which are not jump scares, which is more about atmosphere, and like Mammooty like he totally steals the scene every single time. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
So I watched this without subtitles with my friend who's British and another friend who's American, and I mean they definitely struggle at certain places because there's a lot of like this is not a very talky movie. Like this is not like a movie that's driven by dialogue, but the dialogue, there are like
Yeah.
certain points where the older servant is providing context, like what happened and like who is this entity that has taken over the house, etc. And to understand that, you definitely do need subtitles. But I like the more like when I watched this movie, I really liked it. And then as the further I get from this movie, the more I like it, because I just keep thinking about certain facets of this film. And one of the things that it does is that it's very rooted in the socio-political context of Kerala in the 17th century. So there are things that you see so the movie is more or less seen through the eyes of the young protagonist, who is this very naive young man who stumbles across this house in the forest. And you kind of see like how he changes as the movie progresses, and then he understands more of this world that he's in. And it's so clever the way that they have shown the way that he's losing. When you see him, he's almost afraid to even criticize. Like, he can tell immediately that there's something wrong with Mammooty's character, but he is so mired in the caste situation in Kerala in the 17th century that
Yeah.
he's afraid to even criticize the tamburan, the head of that household. Like, he's afraid to criticize Mammooty because Mammooty is a high caste man. And he, like, not even like outside of his hearing, he's just like, oh no, like, I shouldn't say anything. And then as he loses his memory and his sense of self, all that is left is his
Yeah.
humanity. And that is when he's like, no, like, this is wrong. And there's a point in the towards the end of the film where the older servant is about to do something, and he says, no, you can't do that, because if you do it, then that leaves a path open for this devil to continue to subjugate people like you and me. And the journey of him going in the beginning of the film, where he's like, like, I'm a slave, I don't have any rights, I don't even want to criticize or even think about criticizing somebody who is above me, to the end of it where he's lost all history, all memory of who he is and where he is, but all that remains is his
Yeah.
humanity. And that compels him to say that, no, actually, I don't deserve to be treated like this, and other people shouldn't be treated like this either. It's such.
There's a scene where he gets asked, "What's your mother's name?" and he's like, it's on the tip of his tongue, but he can't tell it because he's lost that memory, and then he cannot understand the sense of time. Whether it's been raining for 3 days or 3 years, he doesn't know. And the rain, once the rain starts, it's constant until the end. It's just like the sort of that eeriness of losing your self identity and losing all memory. Oh my god, that just sent a shiver down my spine.
There's
It
a
was
point
amazing.
where Mammooty, like, they're trying to kill the devil, and the devil basically throws up this illusion, and suddenly you see Mammooty with like perfect teeth, and you're just like, ugh, like, that is an illusion because he's got this jacked up teeth until then. And the way that Mammooty like chews in this movie, like, oh my god, like, all of it is just like, I'm not a huge horror fan,
Yeah.
but like, I really enjoyed this movie. Are you gonna watch
Nice.
it?
I'm waiting. I think so. I mean, like you, I'm not a huge horror fan. Although I'm very excited to watch Shaitan with Ajay Devgan, weirdly enough, because that trailer looks really good. But I actually never watched Tumbad either, and I think that seems to be a reference that a lot of people are kind of like talking about. If it comes on streaming, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Tumbad is on streaming, Asim. There are no
No,
excuses.
not Tumbad. The Bramayugam, the one you guys are talking
I know,
about.
Brahmayugam, yeah.
So I might catch it when it comes out. It just seems interesting. Like, more than I like it or I won't like it, I think it just seems something different and interesting. So that's why it's kind of on my radar for sure. I don't know when it's coming out on streaming though.
Neither do I. The other movie that I watched was MANJUMMEL Boys, which is a movie that is taking Tamil Nadu by storm right now. And this is, again, it's a Malayalam movie. Like, all we are talking about is Malayalam movies in this episode. So Manjumel Boys is, it has that. Did you guys watch Kumlangi Nights?
Is that the one with the three brothers?
Yes.
Or is that
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so
I haven't watched it yet. No.
the elder brother that has like a mental breakdown in that film.
Yes.
So he's the one who
yes.
like produced this film and is acting in it and etc. And it's based on real life events where a bunch of young men from Cochin go on they're like part of this hobby club, and then they decide to take a little boys trip to Tamil Nadu. And when they go to Tamil Nadu, they end up in this place called Kodaikanal that has these very famous caves, basically. And then basically they behave like total idiots, and one of them falls down this pit, and that nobody has come out of alive. And then they need to basically decide whether they can save this person or if he's even alive or not. So it's a very it's a very atmospheric film. It's like an adventure thriller sort of a thing, and I wasn't sure when I went and watched it whether I would like it, but I loved it. Like, it was like that cave is going to give me nightmares for the rest of my life. Like, I'm going to think about it like a long time. Like, it's it's very edge of your seat sort of a thing, and it's basically a pain to to male friendship, and to like courage under fire and that kind of stuff. But
It's funny because Cineworld has listed it as comedy.
I guess like the beginning of it is funny. I don't know, like
Okay.
but I wouldn't say it's like a comedy. I would say it's adventure thriller.
Like one of my most favorite horror movies is The Descent, and that movie still gives me claustrophobia thinking about cave diving
This
and all
is
of that.
basically like that.
Yeah.
I hate caves.
Yeah.
I don't know why people go into them.
Yeah.
I do not understand it. Did you see that picture of that family man? Like, he had like kids at home and he got stuck in this cave. And it's like, who does that? I don't understand. Like, Asman Khulai. There's enough. I don't understand why you would want to go into a cave. I do not understand it. I get claustrophobia. I don't know if this movie is going to be for me. It's just like something that doesn't appeal to me at all, to see people go into a cave.
I thought the same, and then I watched this, and I was just like, "This is amazing." Because I also get claustrophobia, and I would never go into a cave of my own accord. But it was, like I'm also really glad that I saw this on the big screen, because the way, like, it's like MALAIKOTTAI VAALIBAN. Like, you basically see the, like, it really transports you into that place, and you really get a sense of just how terrible the events were and how amazing everything is. And it's just like, Malayalam movies usually, they just have like really good cinematography anyway, but if it's playing near you, you should go watch it at a theater.
Nice. I think we're done for this episode. I think we covered a lot of stuff, and we will be continuing. We're talking about Dune 2 on Patreon, right? That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
So if you want to hear our thoughts about Dune 2, sign up for $1 for Patreon, and you can then listen to that episode. Next episode, we will be doing Ram Jane. Amrita is already crying, but that's the movie we're going to talk about, so it's going to be a fun chat. Amrita, where can people find you online?
If Ramjani doesn't kill me, you can find me on Twitter at AmritaIQ.
Sujoy?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at 9E3K. And you can also follow Khandaan Podcast at Khandaan Podcast on all our socials.
I'm at Ambani. Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. And sign up to Patreon. Let us know what you think about the episode. We'll be back very soon, next week actually, with Ram Jane. And thank you for listening.
क्या बोलती